Hello. Welcome, everyone.
Hello, hello.
How you guys doing over there? Looks like Heidi's family over there has just chugged an entire bottle of champagne right when the show started, so that was incredible. We are so excited to be cooking with you guys today. Today we're making our Italiano. A little Italiano quarantine cuisine. We're going to be making a truffle tortellini, which is one of Chef Tyler's absolute favorite recipes.
The tortellinis and brodo.
And the tortellini and the brodo is just so incredible. We're also going to be able to enjoy a little bit of my favorite style of cocktail, and that's pretty much anything, just like over at Heidi's household, anything made with champagne. So Sarah put together an awesome melon Bellini to be able to make with you guys today, and so we are so excited. And if anyone hasn't cooked with us before, we just want to give you guys a little rundown about Truffle Shuffle. So my name is Jason.
I'm Tyler.
And Sarah is my wife, and the three of us started Truffle Shuffle almost 2 years ago. And so we started Truffle Shuffle with the goal of just helping chefs source honest, sustainable truffles. We all met while working together at a restaurant called the French Laundry in Napa. And while at the restaurant, we cooked with an insane amount of truffles. Just an unbelievable amount of truffles every day, right? And that's where we really fell in love with truffles. When you just cook with it so much, you see every time you make that dish how incredible it can be. And what we wanted to do was help chefs find honest, sustainable truffles. And what we found very interesting is that truffles are the most expensive ingredient that restaurants and chefs will buy, right? High quality protein, Wagyu beef is about $150 a pound.
Mm-hmm.
Truffles are $3,000 a pound.
Yeah.
Right? And with that, chefs have the hardest time knowing exactly where the truffles are coming from. And so we're the first company to import truffles directly to San Francisco, right? And then we launched our first product, a Balinese Truffle Salt, which we got in the box for you. And then Whole Foods picked that up with the goal of rolling it out in Q2 of 2020. And so we doubled our team in the beginning of 2020, right? We went from 3 people to 6 people with this goal of rolling out in Whole Foods, right? We're so excited for it. And as you can imagine, in March, right before this global rollout was supposed to go into effect, the entire world shut down. And specifically, when the shelter in place happened in San Francisco, we had 20 pounds of fresh truffles on hand. That was the cash equivalent, was the equivalent to all the cash we had in the business at the time. And so we had to do something in order to make sure we sold those truffles to stay in business. And the next day we got a phone call asking if we wanted to do a virtual cooking class from the Battery. We said, you know, what if we send everyone ingredients to go with that, and we'll even see if we can find some truffles. And they're like, wow, would you really do that? And we're like, yes, we would absolutely do that.
We would certainly do that.
We're basically looking at all these truffles, right?
Yeah.
That we have to sell to stay in business. And they agreed to it the next day, Thursday, 9 a.m. We launch this virtual risotto cooking class. I know a lot of you even were on that very first one with us, which is awesome, right? And we launched it at 9 a.m. By noon that day, we sold out of all the truffles we've had, effectively saving our business. And since then, we've been able to cook with close to I think it's around 15,000 people. We've donated around 7,000 meals directly to frontline healthcare workers. And as of now, I looked at our payroll the other day, we have 14 people working with Truffle Shuffle.
Yeah, crazy.
And so that's 8 people that were completely laid off during this pandemic that, thanks to you guys, we've been able to support.
Yeah.
So with that, I'm so excited to cook with you guys today. And this is one of Tyler's absolutely favorite recipes. So I'm gonna let him take it from here, and we're gonna go through the mise en place in this dish.
Yeah. Well, first of all, as you can all see, we're fully chefed out over here, right? So as of now, I have been ordained by none other than Chef Suzette Gresham with my Italian chef name, right? Which is Chef Verace.
This is Chef Verace.
I'm now Chef Verace, just so you guys know. And then over here, this is Chef Maccanese, okay? Which I have no idea what that means in Italian. But the only thing that I know is that we're going to be doing this a lot during the class, you know?
Yeah.
So normally we do the thumbs up, right? When everyone's ready to move to the next step. But today we're going to do the
We're calling it the Bravissimo.
The Bravissimo. So we have a strong demonstration of the Bravissimo. Thank you, Mike Weber.
Mike Weber, can we see that one more time?
Can we get that Bravissimo one more time?
Let's see that Bravissimo one more time. Nice.
Bravissimo.
Nice. Incredible. Exactly.
All right. That's correct.
That is correct.
That's correct.
Thank you very much for that.
So we're gonna get we're gonna have a molto bene time together.
Yeah, I love cooking these pasta dishes with you guys. And
yeah,
so,
honestly, pasta is my favorite.
And so we're gonna start it up, but one thing I just want to say, okay? Normally we roll into this, but with this one, we're gonna knock out the cocktail, okay? And then we're gonna knock out the Brodo, okay? So it's like we're getting ready for service. We're all gonna work super fast together, and then that way we can give you guys as much time as you need for the fresh pasta segment.
Yep.
Okay. So is that kind of agreed, right? The cocktail and the Brodo are very, 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 very unbelievably hard to mess up.
They're quick.
Very hard to mess up. So we'll go through those quick, and that way we'll give you guys as much time as you need for the fresh pasta. So
nice.
Give me a Bravissimo if that sounds good.
Bravissimo.
Nice. Thank you, Darian. Thank you, Chrissy. Incredible. All right, and then, so Tyler, you want to walk them through the mise en place for this dish?
Yeah, definitely. So, the way that we have these recipes written out is we like to do our mise en place, right? Then our ingredients, then our prep, then our how to cook, which for this recipe, it's all in the mise en place. It's all in the prep, okay? There's very little cooking that's actually going on except for blanching the pasta. So from the top, in our mise en place, we have our lovely cutting board, which we like to show off our cutting board camera. Okay. Next, we have our pastry brush. Right? Which, if you don't have a pastry brush, that's fine. Personally, I don't even like using a pastry brush for this. I use my finger, right? But if you don't want to use your finger, you use a pastry brush. It's just for brushing that egg yolk or the egg wash on the outside of the pasta dough. After that, we have our baking sheet, okay? Baking sheet or
a tray.
A little tray. And honestly,
or a big platter.
All that's for is for putting the pasta onto before we cook it, okay? After that, we need our slotted spoon, or we have this lovely spider, as you can see over here. Stunning. Then we need a 2-ounce ladle, which, to be completely honest, the number of ounces the ladle holds does not matter at all.
Any ounce ladle.
It could be a 14-ounce ladle if you'd like, right? This is just for pouring that broth, that Brodo, into the bowl. After that, we need our lovely knife.
Excellent.
Nice. And then we need a 1/4 measuring cup. Okay. Very important. We gave you guys semolina and flour mixed together, but it's important that we remove 1/4 cup of that flour mix because we're going to use it as bench flour. All right. After that, we need our 2-quart pot. So we're going to use, so this is going to be our Brodo pot, okay?
The Brodo pot.
The Brodo pot. After that, we need a strainer. We're going to use this to strain the Brodo once it's cooked. Then we have our large pot over here.
And I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to fill this up with water and get it on low heat, okay?
After that, we need our fork. All right. We also need a medium mixing bowl for our flours. We'll need a cloth napkin or a tea towel, right? And we need this for later on when we make the pasta to keep the pasta from drying out. After that, we need a peeler and or truffle shaver.
is a saucier okay for the Brodo? Kristen, that'll work perfect.
Yep. And then we need ourselves a rolling pin. Which, if you don't have a rolling pin, there's something called a backup rolling pin, right? Otherwise known as a wine bottle that you can employ.
Yeah. So if you don't have a rolling pin, you guys want to go ahead, find whatever bottle of wine you have that maybe has the least amount of wine in it, right? You want to pick that up and put it back, and then find a brand new bottle of wine, drink all of that wine, and then that's what you'll use for a rolling pin, okay?
Exactly. So we're going to need that rolling pin organized. So that is all of our mise en place that we need.
Excellent.
Awesome.
So I'm going to dig into our ingredients here in no particular order, right? And so first and foremost, you got your broth. And so there's a couple different types of broth, right? There's a lot of people have veg stock, and then other people have chicken or meat or bone broth, okay? The broth that you have, that's what we'll be using, and it'll work perfect. And then you have your egg mixture. And then you have your ricotta farce. And then you're going to have your semolina and 00 flour. And then we got our Balinese Truffle Salt. Oh, yeah. Then we got our eggs for the egg wash.
Nice.
We got our Balinese cocktail mixer, which, after we make these Bellinis, we're going to use this container to cut the tortellinis.
Yeah, that's also our pasta cutter.
Yep. Diane likes my plan about the proper way to drink the wine for the rolling pin. And then you'll have your little snack pack of Brodo ingredients here, which I'll go into first with you guys. And then you got your Parmesan. And last but not least, we got the black Truffle Carpaccio. Go ahead, bust that lid off. Give that a whiff. And so you got the black Truffle Carpaccio here, and then all those little specks in the ricotta farce are also truffle.
Nice.
Awesome.
All right. So we got all of our ingredients, all of our mise en place. And then all we got to do next is we're going to make our cocktail and then our Brodo.
Yep. And so any questions on the mise en place or the ingredients, we'd love to answer them. Grant, Leo will get with you very quickly here and help you out with your question. And then if not, let me see a big round of bravissimos for Sarah to come up and make this cocktail with us.
Make it a cocktail.
Nice. Incredible Jill, Chris, Diane Hart nailing it. Lisa Rhodes. We got one of my favorite cocktails in the whole world, this Bellini. It's going to be awesome. We got a little Prosecco over here we're doing it with.
Perfect. Okay. So, hello everyone. I thought it would be kind of fun sticking with our Italian theme this week if we had an Italian cocktail. And we did Negronis before, so that was a little heavy and boozy. So I want to do something a little bit lighter with this class. So it is the perfect time of year for melons. So we did a cantaloupe and lemon Bellini cocktail mix. And now Bellini is a little bit more, when you hear Bellini, you just think of fruit puree mixed with sparkling wine, but the origin is actually peach, or more specifically white peach. And so I always like to share with you guys like a fun little tidbit about these cocktails and a little history before we actually drink them. But with the Bellini, it was something that was very seasonal. And it was created obviously in Italy, but then brought over to America and became very popular in New York, but it just became very popular seasonally. And this one French businessman who couldn't quite figure out, he's like, this is so popular and everyone drinks it, but they only drink it during a very specific time, during white peach season. And he thought, well, what if I froze this white peach puree and then they could have it all the time? And so he kind of like started up his own business and became like, you know, this very kind of wealthy and experienced businessman importing white peach puree specifically for Bellinis during like, you know, turn of the century. And so this drink became extremely popular and it was just focused on that one little detail. And so that was kind of fun. So anyway, today, like I said, cantaloupe and lemon, we give you about 4 ounces of the cocktail mix. So I know a common question we get is you guys always want more, which is super flattering, and thank you so much. So you can do this 2 ways, right? We can add 1 ounce and then top the rest with sparkling, or you can do 2 ounces per glass and then just have 1 round. And if you do 1 per, then you can kind of save yourself, and it's still going to be super, super flavorful, but then that'll set you up for the next round, which we're going to need because pasta making is hard work, right? So I'm just going to add a little bit here. Amazing. Top with sparkling. And away we go.
Nice.
Cheers, guys.
Nice.
Awesome.
Love that. The Bellini.
The Bellini.
That's a Bellini.
And so we actually have a cheers camera now. So if you guys want to go ahead, get your glasses in the air. And we're all going to cheers together. Just tap that camera on your computer. Bam.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys. And so, Michael, that mix is just pure melon puree. And so it's California melons and a little bit of lemon. So it's pure melon puree, a little bit of lemon. And the melons right now in California are incredible.
They're so good this time of year.
Yeah. That is awesome.
Delicious.
And so we got one question here. What is in the 00 flour? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, so 00 flour is a finer grind of flour. And in America, we don't really have an equivalent because in Europe, they grade flours differently. But basically, 00 flour is all-purpose flour that's ground finer. And so I'll kind of chat a little bit more about the flours a little later. But that's what 00 flour is. And then Sarah, just so you know, the dried mushrooms, we went over a little quickly, but basically we have our sachet with the shallots, the peppercorns, the garlic and all that. And then we also have our little bag of dried mushrooms. So Jay's going to get to that over here.
Yeah, so believe it or not, we ordered all this chicken stock, right? And it literally, it said it would come in the morning, ended up showing up the next day after we shipped all the packages out. So one of the guys came into the kitchen and we sent them to every single Whole Foods that we could find to pick up chicken stock. So that's why we got a couple of random ones. But what we did is we have these dried mushrooms on hand. They're beautiful dried mushrooms, portinis, black trumpets, shiitakes. And so we wanted to take a little bag of that and send it with you guys. That way we can make this mushroom and Parmesan Brodo together. Awesome. And so 00 is what we typically get here on the show, Chris. That is correct?
Yeah, and so it's actually not a softer wheat. It's the same strain that we use for all-purpose flour. It's that same hardness of the wheat, right? It's just over in Italy, they grind that same wheat finer. So that's the only difference between 00 and what we use over here.
Awesome. And then Eric, Sarah will follow up with you. We'd love to use your figs on a cocktail for the show. So we're going to throw the instructions on the screen, and we're going to knock out this Brodo.
Oh, man.
So simple. And so for this Brodo, we're going to go easiest to hardest, okay? So the easiest thing to do is to take the broth and put it into the pot.
Yep.
So I'm going to cut my broth open here. We're going to go all into the pot, and we're going to go ahead and get it onto medium heat. And then next, in what I'm calling the snack pack, the broth snack pack, I'm going to take the shallots out. And the garlic, and then the Parmesan, you'll see everyone kind of got different sized pieces because we have this awesome rind coming from the Parmesan. And what's so cool about Parmesan rind is it adds just an incredible flavor to this broth. And what it does is allows you to add a lot of flavor without it getting super cloudy, right? So it doesn't melt into there, it really holds its shape. And so I have my pieces here. I'm just going to go ahead and cut them into about 1-inch pieces. Okay? And so that's going in.
Yeah,
And then
and so we want to use all that broth, right?
Yep.
So everyone over there, the amount of broth you got, you want to put it all in this pot, and then we're going to add these flavoring elements to it to go from that broth or stock to be in this beautiful brodo.
Mm-hmm. And now we got our thyme and peppercorns. So we're going all in with the thyme and peppercorns. And then in that smaller bag, you have the dried mushrooms. So we're going to go ahead and pop all those dried mushrooms into our broth. And that leaves us with the shallots and garlic. And we're going to WWE style smash this garlic. And it's going in with the shirt or the skin of the garlic. Okay. And now we just have the shallot. So I'm going to cut the top off of the shallot and then cut it in half. Cutting the top off, and then we're going to cut that directly in half. Okay. And then we're going to take that kind of tougher skin off of it. And we're just going to large dice this shallot, okay? We just want the flavor of it. We don't really need to chop up fine.
So we have two different pots in this cooking process, okay? We're using our broth pot over here, which is our 2-quart pot. And so in this pot, we're going to make that brodo, right? And then we have a separate pot, which is the large pot full of water. And we're going to use that to cook our tortellini, okay? And so right now, step 1 was fill that large pot with water, put the lid on it, and then put that pot on the stove. So right now, we're on to step 2 and moving into step 3, okay? So in this pot, in this smaller 2-quart pot, Jason has the chicken stock, right? The broth. Some of you have mushroom broth. We're using all of the broth that we have given you, right? All that broth. We've chopped up our Parmesan rind, right? Crush that garlic, right? We have the thyme and the black peppercorns in that pot as well. And now Jason's just cutting up these shallots, and we're going to add these shallots to that too.
Yep. So I'm going in with the shallots, and then we'll recap here for you guys.
Yep.
So it looks like we're getting a lot of questions. How much broth? So all the broth you got, put into a pot.
Yep. And
then once you put that into the pot, then you're going to add the peppercorns, the thyme, the Parmesan rind, the diced shallot, and then the smashed garlic.
Yep.
And then once you get all that into a pot, we're going to bring it up to about medium, right?
Yep.
We want little bubbles. We want to kind of cook this low and slow. It's going to cook for about half the amount of time that you need. And then we'll put the dried mushrooms into that pot. So once you have everything in there, give me a bravissimo.
And so we have the dried mushrooms in the pot right now.
How about Chef Cascio? How do you say Chef Cashew in Italian?
I have no idea. I don't know how you say cashew in Italian.
How is Chef Cashew's Italian broth a-looking?
Look at this little Chef Cashew. Chef Cashew, how do you feel about this brodo over here?
It's wonderful. What do you think?
Yeah. Beautiful. And so we have all the ingredients in our pot. Again, broth, shallots, Parmesan rind, dried mushrooms, thyme, black pepper, garlic, right? All in this pot. We have it on medium heat, and we're going to bring that up to a simmer, right? And then we're going to turn it down to low heat once it's at a simmer, okay? So we're bringing that up over medium heat. And so basically this is our brodo, right? This is creating that broth.
Mm-hmm.
So the beauty of the Brodo is it's a very complex flavored infusion of outside flavors with that shallot and that Parmesan, those dried mushrooms right into that base, which is not as strongly flavored, right? But what you're going to yield is this beautiful infusion, right, of those ingredients into that chicken broth. Okay.
Yep. And so we got a great question coming from Carol. Carol wants to know, should we leave the broth covered or uncovered?
So you want to make sure you leave the broth uncovered.
Nice. And that's mainly because you don't want high heat on this, okay? If you leave the lid on it and it starts boiling, right, it might cook down too fast while you get carried away making this incredible pasta. And then the other part is you want to be able to smell it. You know, I love when that smell comes through the kitchen.
Yeah, totally. Part of the Brodo is it's like the savory potpourri of the kitchen.
Chris says the Brodo already smells delicious.
Nice.
And Manu, you want to go ahead and put all the garlic into that broth.
Yeah. So everything that's in that little bag, right, and all those dried mushrooms and all that broth are all going in this same pot, okay? Excellent. All right, so now that we got all of our Brodo going over here, again, we're going to bring it to a simmer, and then we're going to turn that temperature down to low, okay, and just keep it cooking over nice low heat. Beautiful. All right, so we have our cocktails made, right?
Yep.
We have our Brodo coming up over here, okay? And again, we're just bringing that up, and then we're going to turn it down to nice low heat. So what we like to do is give you guys plenty of time to make all this pasta dough, all right? So if you guys have everything in that Brodo pot, right, you got it coming up to a simmer. Go ahead and give us a little Italian love over here. All right?
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful. Can you guys see? We have us on gallery view. Everybody is shaking their hands. We are all ready to move on to the next step.
You guys are looking awesome.
I love that.
So now we got a little over an hour to be able to make this pasta with Chef Tyler.
Yep.
So thank you guys so much. Peter, you're looking awesome down there. So,
Gravadino.
and then at the end of the class today, Sarah's actually going to be chatting with Lindsay Hoops about some really awesome wine.
Yeah, definitely. All right, cool. So now that we have that Brodo working, what we're going to do is we're going to start making our pasta dough, okay? So we're going to come over here. We're going to get this this pasta dough cam over here. And so what you want to do, if you have a cutting board, okay, you need to get rid of it. All right, to be completely honest. Get it out of the way. We're going to go directly on the countertop over here. All right? So basically we're going to make this dough directly on the countertop. So first things first, what I'm going to do is open up that little deli, right, with the 00 flour and the semolina. And we're going to put all of it into this medium mixing bowl, okay? So 00 flour, semolina in that medium mixing bowl, okay? And then we're just going to grab our fork over here and mix it all up together. All right?
Nice.
And so I know we had a question earlier of what 00 flour is. And so again, it's a more finely ground flour than what we have in America, but it's the same wheat as what we use for all purpose, okay? And by that, I mean the same strain, which has the same gluten content and hardness, which is how wheat is measured, all right? But semolina is a harder wheat than all purpose. So we like to put a little semolina in here too, because semolina totally changes the texture of the dough, right? So it gives it a little more chewiness, right? If you buy any dried pasta like spaghetti or whatever, it's literally semolina and water are the only two that are in there. And so real quick, I'm going to show you guys this broth, right? So you see how it's boiling over there? Coming up to a simmer. I'm going to turn that all the way down to low heat, all right?
And then we got our other pot that is also on low right now.
So we have our large pot with water on it on low. We have our broth with our Brodo on low heat, okay? And we're just going to be steeping all those flavors into it. And you guys will see at the end is this beautiful Brodo, right? So we want to mix up. I'm back to making my pasta, right? So my medium mixing bowl, I have my Semolina and my 00 flour in that bowl. I've mixed it together. What we want to do is take a 1/4 cup measure, all right?
And this is a part, so make sure you pay attention here that we get a lot of questions on. So
as you can see, I have 1/4 cup of flour. From here on out, I'm going to refer to this as bench flour, okay? So I have my bench flour. Put that bench flour off to the side, okay? We're not going to use it until we start rolling out our dough. Okay, so right now, everybody go ahead, take that bench flour, put it off to the side, and when you have done that, give me the little, give me one of these, okay? I gotta know that bench flour is off to the side, okay?
there we go, Peter.
Peter, do you have the bench flour off to the side?
And then we got that Italian music here.
Excellent. So again, very important that 1/4 cup is off to the side, okay? Because we need it to make our, to roll out our pasta, okay? So some of this flour is for making the dough, and some of this flour is for using on the bench as we're rolling it, all right? So I'm gonna take all the rest of the flour that was in there, okay? Lay it out onto my countertop, all right? And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go in and we're gonna, like in Kung Fu, how they have crane style, right? We're gonna go right in the middle, and we're just gonna make a little hole right in the center of this flour, okay? And that's gonna be called our well. So again, we're going in here, and we make that well in the middle of the flour, okay? You guys see that? So we're gonna make our little well, right? And so basically in that well is where we're gonna put all of our eggs for making this pasta dough, okay?
Nice.
And then inside this little deli that I have right here is my whole egg, right? I have my egg yolks, I have my olive oil, right? And so the center of that well should be able to basically fit that deli. Okay, can you guys see that? You fit that deli in there. All right. So I know we're kind of going a little slower with this part, but it's a part that, you know, honestly, if you haven't made pasta dough before, it's very it's like magical seeing pasta made from zero to finished. So again, 1/4 cup is my bench flour now. Now, the rest of the flour down here, I made that well in the middle. And I'm just going to pour all of my eggs into the center of that, okay?
Nice.
Put all those eggs in there, okay?
From 0-0 to finish.
From 0-0 to finish. S.
Nice.
Hauser, I like that. All right. So now that we have that in there, what we're going to do is we're going to take our index finger, okay? Right? See that? And this is now going to be our dough hook, okay? So if you guys have ever seen a dough mixer or anything like that, and what I'm going to do to explain it before I start doing it is I'm just going to go around the edge, right? And basically I'm going to slowly bring the flour from the edge into the eggs until the eggs have enough flour in them that they're not so liquid.
Nice.
All right, so that's what we're gonna be doing. So in order to do that, we wanna make sure that the walls of this well, so to speak, they don't break. If they do break, don't worry, it's not the end of the world. At the end of the day, all we're trying to do is mix all of this flour into all of these eggs. All right. So again, I'm going to come over here with my finger, right, directly onto the edge. And then I'm going to come around the edge of the flour. All right. And you see how I'm not breaking through that wall? Okay. In fact, I'm pushing it out.
Yeah.
So again, you just go around the edge. Right? And you see you're kind of pushing the walls of that flour out as you go. And then what you do, if you have a little flour in the middle, right? You just mix your finger in there just to get that flour incorporated into the eggs in the center, all right? So again, I'm gonna go around the edge. Right? Just incorporate that flour into that egg, okay? And as you keep going around the edge, you know, you keep pulling that flour into that egg.
Everyone's looking really good. All right, so let's start spotlighting a couple of people making their well. You got Chef Jackson over there.
Chef Jackson, what's up, dude? How you doing, bud?
Nice job. We got Chef Bruno. How you guys looking over there?
Chef Sophia, how are you? I like that chef hat. All right, Anna and Maddie, beautiful looking dough over there. See how it's coming together? Exactly. It's a bravissimo. Who else we got? Ann Farley. Look at that pasta well over there. Looks great.
Nice. Emma
Bloomfield, beautiful.
Yeah, really nice job. Mitch Mortensen. What up, guys? Looking good over there. Jeanette, really nice. We got Gabby, Rob, and Henley the puppy. Awesome job, guys. Stephanie looking really good. Lauren from TBC looking awesome. Okay. Beautiful. And so now you get into this point.
Right? So now at this point, as I keep stirring in this flour with my finger, the dough or the egg is getting a little thicker, right? And I'm getting to the point where, you know, it's not really gonna move through the edges. It's not gonna break my levee, right? Like it could have before. So again, you want to just keep bringing that dough in with that finger, right? To make that dough. Just keep moving that flour in, right? And then pushing this flour in from the outside. All right, so you're gonna get to a stage in this, right, where basically you form this kind of like wet dough, okay? As you guys can see over here, that's where my dough is at, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where I have a lot of this flour incorporated in with this egg, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And so basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring in the flour from the edges, and I'm just going to start folding and pressing the flour into the dough, okay? So again, bring that flour in, and I'm going to press it into this dough. And you guys will see this egg will start to absorb all of this flour over here, right? And it's going to form this kind of wet dough. All right. And basically what we're making over here is edible Play-Doh. You know?
We got one question here from Diane and Mitch Hart. Is this how we made pasta at the French Laundry?
Yeah, so this is a very similar process to how we make it at the French Laundry. Yep. We've changed a few things. We're not making it exactly like we did. We would never put semolina in the dough back there, but the technique is very similar. Yep.
Mm-hmm. We've adapted it so people can make it at home without a pasta roller.
Yep.
And so you can roll it all out by hand and make it really nice at home.
Yeah.
The semolina kind of gives it that body.
Exactly. So what you want to do is if you have a little bit of pasta dough left in your hands, right? You basically just want to rub your hands together and get kind of those pieces off, right? And you want to come in here and press them into that dough, okay? I just need a little more flour. So we want to come in here. We want to press all this that's on my cutting board or on my countertop into my dough, okay? So sometimes because it's sticking a little bit, you just come in with a knife, right? Scrape everything up, okay? Mm-hmm. Basically, you want to fold it all into that dough.
Nice.
All right? Nice. So there you go. What we're kind of doing over here is we're forming like a shaggy dough, okay? So as you can see over here, this is what my dough looks like, right? And so I know some of you are a little bit behind us, but if you're over here and you have your dough and it looks like this, we would love to come in and spotlight that camera.
Mm-hmm.
So
hold that dough up to the camera and give us a little bravissimo.
Hold that dough up to the camera. Give us that bravissimo, right?
Katie and Jason looking really good there. Heidi, thank you for the bravissimo.
Thank you, Heidi.
Lisa, nailing it. Awesome, Mike Weber. Let's see. Excellent. And look at that dough.
Look at that dough.
Awesome. Darian and Pam, very nice dough.
Nice looking dough, Pam. Perfect.
Maddie and Molly, what is up? Awesome dough. Chris, Loretta. Chris, you're looking good. You might just want to rub your hands together. That'll help getting that extra flour off. Pika looking great there. Really nice. Chef Jackson.
Chef Jackson, there he is.
Nice dough.
Look at that dough.
All right. We got Chef Cashew over here. Wow. Chef Cashew. Chef Cashew is pretty sure that's a... Right. Awesome. Annie and Luck and the cat.
How are you making that dough with cats on your head? I know. It's an amazing balancing act that you're doing. Beautiful. Look at that.
Lauren nailing it over there. And so, Tyler, we got one comment here. We got two questions. One is, why did we not put semolina into the pasta dough at the laundry? And then the other is coming from Charlene Kloss. She wants us to come in there and check out that dough. So, Sarah, you want to find Charlene? And while we're looking for Charlene, we'll go ahead and answer that question for you guys.
Nice. All right, what you got, Charlene?
Charlene, you want to show us your dough and we'll take a look at it with you?
Yeah, how's it look? We'll diagnose this dough real quick. Yeah, beautiful. So you just need to mix that up a little bit more, and you'll see that the eggs will hydrate the flour, right?
So, Darling, you want to show us how you're kneading? Let's see how you're kneading.
I got your info, and yeah, I will keep kneading.
Okay, nice. The dough just needs a little bit more kneading.
It just needs a little
Thank-
attention.
A little love and attention. And then will you just turn the camera down and touch, and we'll just check out that kneading technique and see if there's anything we can help you with there.
All right, cool. So there you go. Yeah, exactly. So you just want to press it together. Beautiful. And then, perfect. And then you got your bench flour off to the side. Excellent.
Add more.
Perfect. Nope. So you don't want to add any more flour. So basically, any of that kind of residual flour that's on that cutting board, you can just
Should be enough.
get it off. Yeah, you just get it off there, and then just leave
Okay.
that dough. And then we're going to go into the kneading process. We haven't really gotten there quite yet. Perfect.
So I didn't know this was possible. She raised her hand, so can we stop?
Nice.
All right. Maisha, how you doing? Nice.
Nice. That's looking awesome.
Looks great. All right, so what we're going to do over here next is we're going to go into kneading the dough, all right? And so we're going to get our little knead camera on, okay? And so if you guys can see, I got my dough right here, right? What I'm going to do, what I want to do is we're going to start kneading the dough. And so with pasta dough, it's very important that you knead that dough, right? And you develop the gluten in that dough, because it's the only way you're going to be able to roll it out thin enough, okay? So what I'm going to do over here, and you guys will see, basically we're going to fold this dough in half, right? And then I'm going to take the heel of my hand and I'm going to push the dough forward. You see how it rolls like that? Right? And then I'm going to take the dough and turn it, fold it in half, and repeat that process. Okay?
Nice.
And so what I'm doing over here, and it's very important that you're not just pressing straight down on the dough, right? If you're pressing straight down on the dough, you are not kneading the dough, right? You need to press down and move forward, okay? And so when you do that, do you feel how it rolls under your hand, right? You guys feel that? Give me a little bravissimo if you feel that, how it rolls under your hand.
Nice,
Okay,
guys.
so the rolling is very, very important. So if you're just standing on top and pushing the dough down, you're not going to be kneading it. You have to roll it, right? And so what that does is it forms the gluten in that dough, right? Which is, again, it's very important because pasta dough needs a lot of gluten, right? In order to get it thin enough. And so to go back to the original question, why didn't we use semolina at the laundry? It's just a different kind of dough. Semolina makes a more rustic dough, okay? And this is getting a little technical for some of you, but semolina is a little more rustic dough. The way that it feels on your tooth is a little bit different than if you just use 00 flour. So at the restaurant, we would just use 00 flour. We wouldn't use semolina just because it was a little too rustic in that environment. So the reason why we like to use semolina is because it gives the dough that really nice chew to it. So if some of you out there, if your dough feels a little dry, right? Sometimes this happens, you know, maybe there's a little egg left in that deli after you took it out. So what you want to do if your dough is dry, just take your hands, run them under the faucet real quick. They'll put like a very small amount of water on your hands and then knead the dough like that, okay? So again, if your dough feels dry, just add a little bit of water to your hands and keep pushing forward. So Should we have used olive?
So mix. We put the olive oil in the egg mixture for you already.
Yeah. So in that egg mixture was olive oil, egg yolks, and whole eggs.
Yep.
So again, we're going forward. We're just kneading this dough. Right? And so if your dough is a little bit sticky, right, just add a little bit of that bench flour to it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? If your dough is a little bit dry, just wet your hands under the faucet just a little bit and then knead that dough with it. Okay?
And kind of the rule of thumb, right, Tyler, and I've heard you say this before, is if it gets sticky, you use a little flour, but if it's not, then you want to kind of stay away from using the flour for pasta dough, right?
Yeah, if your dough is not sticking, do not add more flour.
Mm-hmm.
You only want to add more flour if your dough is physically sticking to the countertop, okay? So again, what we're doing over here is we're just making edible Play-Doh. That's it. It's not really any more complex. So basically, we're just rolling this dough, right, with the heel of our hand. We're turning it, folding it, rolling it, okay? And what's going to happen is we're going to yield this really nice, like, silky dough. And you'll see, some of you, if you start with a dough that you might think is just a little bit too dry, it's interesting because once you start kneading that dough, the eggs in that dough are going to hydrate the flour, right? And it'll get silkier. Okay.
Yeah, when you're first learning how to make pasta, when you first get it all mixed together, you have a little bit of like a mini heart attack, you know? You're like,
yeah,
did I mess all this up? And then you start kneading it and really working with it, and you're like, oh my God, thank you. And you get to the end process and realize that as long as you kind of follow that process and really knead it, it comes into a really, really nice dough.
Yeah. So again, pasta, right? Pasta dough is the perfect analogy. Is it's like a 16-year-old, right? It is not going to behave very easily, right? It's not going to do what you tell it to do, right? But as long as you keep the pressure on it, it'll get there, okay? So, Lauren, can you over knead pasta dough? The answer is no. You really can't. You can keep kneading this for an hour and it'll be perfect. But we're not going to go for an hour. We're going to go for about 5 minutes. And so you guys should see your dough transforms from that kind of shaggy dough, right? It goes from a shaggy dough to this like almost like Play-Doh texture, okay? And so again, we're rolling that dough under the heel of our hands, okay? And so I just want to take 1 second to show you guys what my pasta dough looks like, okay? So you look at this dough over here, you see that? And then when I press into it with my finger, you see how it jumps back at me? Right? So that shows that the correct amount of gluten has been formed, right? So at this point, I got my dough, right? All made up. Just gonna smack it a little bit. Very important to show that dough who's boss, okay? And then after we've got it kneaded, right, which if you guys have been kneading with us is the correct amount of time, well, all we're going to do is we're just going to pop this dough and wrap it in a little plastic wrap or a plastic bag, right? And then you set it off to the side, okay? So we're just going to take 1 second. I'm sure some of you guys have questions about this pasta dough. Thank you, Amse. Love that. Excellent. And so, is there anyone out there that would like to show us their pasta dough? I can say, personally, I absolutely love looking at pasta dough. So
let's check out this pasta dough.
if you would like to show us that dough, we would love to see it.
Let's go check out Chef Sophia's nice.
Chef Sophia, can you give us a little bravissimo, please? Chef,
Brava,
look at that
please,
pasta.
Carol
Carol
nailing it.
Green.
And then Sarah, let's check out Karen Johnson. It looks like it was Paige's Sweet 16 the other day.
All right.
Awesome.
Fira, so glad that it paid off. Janelle, look at that pasta. Stunning.
All right, we got Lindsay Hoops here looking incredible.
Nice.
We got Mimi.
Mimi, how's that pasta look? Look at that. Beautiful. It's a bravissimo.
We got Steve and Anna. What is up, guys? Beautiful.
Can we get a little, how you doing over there?
A little
hey, look at this
bravissimo.
pasta. Wow, look at that. Beautiful.
Rhonda.
Rhonda, look at that pasta dough. Ooh.
Happy anniversary,
Happy
guys.
anniversary. Glad we could be a part of it, you know.
Thank
All
you.
right, Linda, let's see that pasta dough. Nice. Sherry Tucker, awesome.
Sherry, beautiful dough.
And we have one over here that just
Wait a
says,
second. Wait a second. We got the little chef over here. Can we highlight that little chef? Wait, is this chef El Parisi over here? Look at that pasta dough. Can we
Nice.
Can we get a bravissimo? It's a bravis. Beautiful. Look at that dough.
Awesome. We got Jenny Gruber.
Jenny Gruber. Beautiful dough. Nice.
Awesome. And then we got Meritage looking incredibly happy, and that pasta dough looks awesome. We got Chef Jackson down here.
Chef Jackson. There you go, bud. Look at that dough, man. Wow.
Cheryl and Julie.
How does Chef Simba feel about that dough?
Chef Simba is probably sleeping in the sink.
Awesome job, guys.
I love Chef Simba.
Okay, anyone else here? Depika.
Topeka, let's see that dough again.
There you go.
Sun. I like those flowers too.
Nice flowers. Suzanne.
Suzanne, wait a second. Annie Luke.
She's got the cocktail and the pasta dough.
Does that have a leopard print on the bottom of that glass? Look at that.
Yes, it does.
What? Solomon and
Nice
Adri.
front.
Bellissima.
How is the dough over there? Is it beautiful?
And so we got one question here from Pierce. Why the plastic bag?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So Pierce, the reason why we put it in the put the dough in the bag or wrap in plastic is because pasta dough dries out wicked fast, okay? Seriously, like if you leave it on the counter for 10 minutes uncovered, it'll form a skin on the outside because there's all that egg in there, right? So it's important whenever you're working with pasta dough, you have to keep that dough covered. Okay, otherwise, yeah, I'm from New England. Otherwise, it's gonna dry out. Okay.
Yeah, Pierce, how's that pasta dough looking? You want to show us?
Yeah, Pierce, where are you at?
You got to kick that camera on.
Okay, I found Karen.
Awesome. So let's see Karen's. How's that pasta dough?
Happy birthday!
Not good. It's not good.
Oh, that's beautiful. What are you talking about?
There's one that's good, one not so good.
That one looks great. Looks stunning.
We're still working on it.
Just keep going.
Okay, yes, everything's
going
pretty well.
But even Mauritian,
Yeah, I missed
Nice.
that's mine better than yours. Remember? Huh?
Yours was better than mine, yeah.
Be a part of it. Excellent. All right, so we have our dough over here, right? We have made this beautiful pasta dough. And so what we got to do is let the dough rest just a little bit, all right?
You hear your name?
I know we went around, we spotlighted a few people, okay? But we still need just a couple minutes of that dough to rest, just to kind of let that gluten relax just a little bit. And so what do you think for the next 5 minutes? You want to talk about Parmigiano?
Yeah. So super pumped to do this dish. And honestly, we've been working with truffles a lot, right? So we're like, what's an ingredient that we can highlight along with these truffles that we think is absolutely incredible? And, you know, we kind of went through the list and came down to Parmesan. And my coolest experience with Parmesan is I actually took a trip to France, right? Chef Keller sent me to France to go work at some French restaurants, but there's one Italian chef that I wanted to meet, and his name was Chef Massimo Bottura. And so Chef Keller sent me to France, and basically I had 2 days off, and I booked a plane ticket to Italy. And while I did this, I just want to, you know, say I was terrified the whole time because Chef Keller sent me to France, and I went to Italy, you know, and I just imagine getting like yelled at and being like, "You work at the French Laundry. I sent you to learn French cuisine." But there was one chef that I really wanted to meet. His name was Massimo Bottura. And at the time, he was the #1 chef in the world, at the #1 restaurant in the world. And I took a plane to Italy. I got a rental car. I drove to this restaurant in the middle of service, knocked on the door, ended up meeting the chef, ended up having dinner at the #1 restaurant in the world when it just got named #1. And it was unbelievable. He put a kitchen.
Just to interject real quick, I know he's not really embellishing on it, but this is literally the greatest it's named the best restaurant in the world, and Jay just walked up to that restaurant. So you keep going, but just to put it into perspective, like it's not just this random Italian restaurant; it's like literally rated Pellegrino best restaurant in the world.
I was trying to get to the Parmesan story, and so I went and knocked on the door, met the chef. He was very confused on why I was there. I told him I was there to meet him, and he stopped everything he was doing, asked if I wanted to eat something, just like that. I swear to God. "Do you want to eat something?" And I said, "Chef, I would love to eat something." And I went to go get my bag. I came back. When I came back, he had the entire service staff lined up in the restaurant. And I had the full menu at the #1 restaurant in the world at the time, cooked by Chef Massimo himself, and a table in the kitchen. And so that was incredible. But then I said, "Chef, what should I do while I am in Modena," right? And Modena is really close to Emilia-Romagna, which is the Parmesan capital of the world.
Yep.
And so he sent me to a farm and Parmesan house where they make the Parmesan and then age it. And so that's where we got all the Parmesan for this class for you guys, straight from that farm right in Emilia-Romagna from a gentleman named Gravero. And that Parmesan, and then that night we went out and got tortellinis, right? And it's just incredible. You have certain dishes like that you can put truffles with, but then when you add Parmesan, right? It's such a simple dish. We use it all the time, right? It is really, honestly, I mean, Parmesan without pasta, without truffles, without a lot of, you know, imagine pizza without a little bit of Parmesan on the crust, right?
It's a luxury ingredient.
It's truly a luxury ingredient.
It really is.
And these tortellinis, what makes these tortellinis, honestly, is the Parmesan.
Yep.
The truffles just in this dish play a highlighting flavor.
Yeah, there's a supporting actor. And so that's why we wanted to put that Parmesan rind in the Brodo. And I know we didn't really touch on it that much, but so this, when you cook the Parmesan rind like this, you can actually eat that Parmesan rind afterwards. And so this is something like I can just say for myself, right? Coming up, the chef I worked for back in the day, he cooked a lot of Portuguese food, right? And so every time at the restaurant, and whenever you guys use Parmesan, you probably get to that rind and you might throw it out, okay? But what you should do is save those Parmesan rinds, right? You can save them in the freezer in just a little plastic bag. The next time you make soup, throw that Parmesan rind in there. The next time you make Brodo, right? When you strain this Brodo, save that Parmesan rind, right? And eat it. You'll see what I'm saying. It's braised cheese. Legitimately, it's one of the most beautiful things I've ever tried. It really like blew my mind when I was a 16-year-old kid working in the kitchen, right? But Parmesan, there's zero waste, right? You use the inside for that beautiful grated, right? Save those rinds and then put it in something like Brodo or soup, and you can eat the entire wheel of the cheese. There's nothing that needs to go in the trash can. So it really is it's a luxurious product because it's that milk, right? That's salted, pressed, and then they age Parmesan for at least 18 months, right? So it's a year and a half before they even package it. So, I mean, honestly, Parmesan is one of those, it's a true labor of love. It's so simple, right? But then it reflects the terroir, where it's from, what year it was made, where it was aged. And so it's just a pleasure for us to share that beautiful ingredient with all of you.
Mm-hmm. And so we got one question. What city were we in? So again, I went to Modena, right? Went to Osteria Francescana, had dinner cooked by Massimo Bottura in the middle of Italy. And I said, Chef, what should I go learn about while I'm here? And he told me Parmesan. I could have gone to Ferrari, right?
Lamborghini.
Balsamic vinegar, Barolo wine, truffles, right?
Yeah.
I did not have a truffle business at the time.
Yeah.
I was in the middle of Italy, and the #1 chef in the world sent me to go learn about Parmesan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Incredible. And
Awesome.
so how do you think, Tyler? How are we looking on resting?
Yeah. So now our dough is ready to roll out. So we like to just give a little rest on this dough, right? Just to relax it a little bit because flour, right, is actually a living ingredient. Okay, I know it was always hard for me to understand that when the chefs told me this back in the day, but if you think about it, flour, it comes from a grain. The grain is a seed, right? And so when you add, just like any seed, when you add water to that, it comes to life, okay? And so flour is a ground seed. And so when we add water in the form of egg, right, with pasta dough, or with water, right, in bread making, you're bringing it to life. And so it starts forming that gluten, right, which is so important for bread making, for pasta making, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gluten is good, okay? So we have our pasta dough over here, but we just want to let it rest because when you're working that dough, the gluten tightens up. And you just need to give it a second, just like your muscles. You got to let the muscles relax, and then we can roll it out, right? Because if you try to roll it immediately, it'll kind of spring back a little too much, and you won't be able to roll it thin enough, which rolling pasta dough thin when you're making fresh pasta dough is the most important part, one of the most important parts. Obviously, they're all important. But so we have our dough, right? It has been rested. It is relaxed, hanging out. You know what I mean? And so what we're going to do next is we're going to start rolling the pasta dough.
Yeah.
Okay? So in order to do that, what I need to do is we need to dust our surfaces. Okay?
Some serious distribution here.
This is called distribution. Okay? So
Nice,
again,
Carol.
so you want to dust that board, right? And then what we're all going to do is we're going to dust our hands, okay? And to make sure they're properly dusted, we're going to give ourselves the dust clap, okay? So you got to give it the clap. Oh, and you should see that flour cloud, that dust cloud, right? So again, we're all going to come on here together. We have it on gallery view over here. So take a little flour in your hands, right? And you're going to give it a little clap. Oh, look at that.
Nice, guys.
Excellent. So part of dusting the surface is you dust the countertop, right? You dust your partner. You dust your Bellini mixer, right? If you get a little flour in that Brodo, I don't know if that's bad. I don't think that's necessarily bad. So you need enough, and so you need to add flour, right? So now that I have my surface dusted, okay, I'm going to put my pasta on it, and then I'm just going to add just a little more flour on top, okay? And so now that we have the surfaces dusted, from now on, we are only going to add flour if the pasta seems like it's sticking, okay? Do not add flour unless the pasta seems like it's sticking, okay? And so the reason for that is when you make, if you are making not stuffed pasta, right? If you're making like tagliatelle or pappardelle, right? It's okay if you have a good amount of flour because you're just making strands of pasta, right? When we're making stuffed pasta, it's very important the dough doesn't get too floury, because then it won't stick to itself.
Right.
Right? So, all right. So, Joey and Angela, I'm going to suggest that you do not use a pasta roller, okay? You might get mad at me. That's fine. But what we like to teach with these cooking classes is technique, okay? And I can say you can experience rolling pasta with a pasta roller, but when you do it with a rolling pin, you get to feel the small details much better, and then you understand the bigger process a lot better. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lay this pasta dough down, right? And then with the heel of my hand, right, I'm just gonna press it down, okay?
Nice.
All right.
And what's cool about this versus a pasta roller is this is how pasta was originally rolled out.
Exactly. All the nonas roll it like this. And so what I'm going to do after I've spread it out with my hand is I'm going to take my pasta, my rolling pin, right? And we're just going to roll it vertically at first.
Yep.
And so, again, with rolling out pasta, kind of the best way that I was taught rolling pasta by hand is roll it until you think it's thin enough, and then keep rolling it, all right? Because I guarantee you it's not thin enough. So I'm gonna roll it vertically, then I'm gonna turn it 90 degrees, right? And then we keep rolling it. And so what we wanna do is we wanna roll this pasta dough, right, until it's super, super thin, okay? And if it's ever sticking, right, or it ever seems like it's sticking, we're just gonna add a little flour. Okay. And if it's sticking to the bottom, make sure sometimes you flip that dough over, okay? And then keep rolling. All right. And so with rolling pasta dough, you got to put some weight on it, you know? You definitely got to put some weight behind it because otherwise it will not. Again, just like we use the 16-year-old reference, it's not going to do whatever you want it to do without you kind of forcing it to do that, right?
Nice.
That's the best way to think about pasta dough. So again, we just got, I just put a little bit of flour on this dough, and I'm rolling it super thin. And so kind of the way that we were taught, if pasta dough is thin enough, is you want to roll out this dough until it's so thin that you can read through it.
Yeah.
Right? So again, keep on rolling that pasta dough, okay?
And what do you think, Tyler? Once we go into cutting the tortellinis, we want to kick our pasta water up to a boil.
Exactly. So right now we got our pasta water back there, right? Again, it's just on low heat. We're just keeping it warm. And so once we start cutting our tortellinis is when we're going to kick up the heat on it and get it nice and boiling. So again, as you can see over here, rolling that dough out, right? And you got to get it. It's going to take up a lot of space. So that's why I was telling you, if you have a cutting board, just get rid of it, right?
And so Annie Luck and Linda are saying that their dough keeps fighting and shrinking back on them.
Yep.
And so there's kind of two stages of that. Sometimes you got to keep working with it. The other stage is you need to let it rest more.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that, Tyler?
Yeah, the other stage is that, honestly, if you need to let it rest a little bit, it is just fine. But if you started rolling it, what I would suggest is you do kind of want to fight it. Because at this stage, if you take a second, right, the dough might dry out a little bit, which will then make it even more difficult. So you got to kind of press down, right? And it'll get to a point with this pasta dough that it won't want to spring back too quick, okay? So basically, I've rolled my dough out to be about this thickness, okay? And so over here, yeah, exactly. So Annie, just like, again, sometimes you just gotta make the dough behave, right? The dough's not gonna want to behave on itself, by itself. So you gotta make it behave. So you see our pasta dough over here. Right? So you see how you can just start seeing that tortellini right there?
Mm-hmm.
I need to go just a little bit thinner. All right?
Yeah, you want to be able to read it, right?
You want to be able to read it.
Nice.
So again, I'm just going to put a little bit more flour on this guy. And then mine just needs a little bit more rolling.
That's looking great, Tyler.
Yeah, looking so good. So again, roll it out that little bit more. And again, you'll see once it gets really thin, the gluten doesn't fight you so much. It I don't want to say it gives up, but it's a little more tame.
Mm-hmm. So Kristen, what we have here is the same amount of dough that you guys are working with as well.
Exactly.
Awesome. So what do you think, Tyler? While you got this rolled out, should we spotlight a couple people and see how theirs is looking?
Oh yeah, for sure. And then just to kind of show you guys, so mine is rolled out as thin as it needs to be right now.
Why don't we spotlight about 4 people, Sarah? All right, it's like Steve and Anna are making a little tagliatelle in the back there.
Yeah.
Very nice. Tammy and Kevin. All right, nice. Kevin is going for it.
Keep rolling it, Kevin.
You're doing an
Got it.
awesome job. All right, we got Karen Lott down here. How's this pasta looking?
Nice. Karen, how's that dough look?
Nice, looking really good, guys. We got Ann Farley.
Nice. There you go.
Awesome. I love the tiny little rolling pin. What is up, Marissa?
Marissa from 3-6. What's up?
Pasta dough is looking really good.
Looks great.
Awesome. And so before we go to this next step, is anyone having any issues besides the fact that this is a workout that you want to throw into the chat and we can look at with you?
Yeah.
But other than that, you guys are nailing this.
Yeah.
Deanna,
Looks great.
Awesome. Peter Gravagino, do you have an up top cam for this?
Peter Graffagino. How is that dough looking?
Looking really good down
I
there.
love it, man. It's like a food. You look great.
Katie and Jason. Yeah, look at that. Nice and thin. That looks really thin. You can tell.
Beautiful.
Awesome job,
Nice.
guys.
Nice.
Got him.
Okay, so basically, if you see this camera over here, so if we slip the pasta below it, right? Now we can read what's going on. See?
Mm-hmm.
You get it in there closer. So,
Truffle tortellini.
Truffle Tortellini.
Incredible.
So again, you want to roll it out nice and thin. And kind of the reason why it has to be that thin is because with stuffed pasta, you got to imagine you're going to take some of that pasta, fold it on itself, right? And 2 pieces of pasta are going to become 1. So it's very important that that dough is super thin. So that way when you press it together, it's not too thick.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We got
All right.
one comment here real quick from Linda. She is doing this with 1 broken hand. So Linda, you can do it first of all. And 2, my suggestion there would be to kind of break it into smaller pieces. Okay? Like maybe cut the dough into a 1/4 and roll out 1/4 with 1 hand at a time.
Yep. Yeah, I would do that. All right. So, and Megumi, if you have a tiny little hole in the pasta, do not worry because we're going to cut little rounds, okay? So just make sure that hole doesn't fall into one of these rounds. So what I'm going to do next, right, is I'm going to take my little melon Bellini mixer container. I'm just going to dust the edges in flour, okay? And then I'm going to start cutting circles in the dough. So what you want to do, that one I messed up a little, but what you want to do is press down and just move the cutter back and forth, okay? Right? See that? See how it's cutting that little, that beautiful little round?
And so we're showing you guys both angles of Tyler right now.
Uh-oh.
So we got
Two angles of me at the same time.
you got this side where he's cutting it out, and then you got up top.
Nice. So again, coming through, and we're cutting out all these rounds. So this is gonna be way more tortellinis than we're gonna make during this, on this call. But you guys will have plenty so that you can keep making them, right? After even we're done over here. So what you want to do is you want to go through, you want to cut all the tortellinis, right? All the little circles. And so Jay's going to grab one side, I'm going to grab the other, okay? And we're just going to pull up this excess dough, right? That way all we have is those little rounds, all right? Missed that one. And so we just have these little rounds. And so make sure you hold on to this pasta dough, okay? Save that because you can roll that out again and use that again. So what we want to do is we want to line up, right, all those little circles of that beautiful pasta dough.
Chef Jackson wants to know, with the excess pasta dough, can they make noodles?
Chef Jackson, 100% you can make noodles. That is exactly what that is for. It actually works perfectly for something like pappardelle or tagliatelle because it already has a good amount of flour in it, right? So, yeah, it'll work great. So, again, you want to cut all those rounds and then you want to get them kind of together, okay? And then what we're going to do next is we're going to grab our napkin, right? We're going to grab our napkin. We're going to grab our napkin, okay? And we're just going to wet it, right? Just get it a little wet.
Mm-hmm.
Not too wet, right? You just want to get a little moist. You want to wring it out, okay? And you see this? So I have my damp towel. And I'm just going to lay that damp towel on top of all these pasta rounds, okay? So now I'm going to go ahead just clean up my workspace just a little bit. Just get that flour out of here, okay? So at this stage, I have all of my tortellinis cut, right? I got my large pot of water. It is coming up to the boil, okay?
Nice.
We have our beautiful Brodo on the stove over here on low heat, right? Just infusing that flavor, okay? And so what we're going to do next is we're going to start forming these tortellinis, all right? So we want to make sure we get our little, tray, okay? And you want to just get a little flour on that tray, all right? That way the pasta just doesn't stick to it as we're doing it, okay? So next we have our ricotta farce, okay? We need our egg wash. We have our little tray, okay? And then we have our tortellini, right? All cut out. And so let's come in here. We're going to gallery view everyone. Let me get a little bravissimo, okay? If you guys are at the same stage. So beautiful. Excellent.
Nice, Christine.
Looking good, Christine.
Jenny nailing it.
Stunning. May the force be with you. All right, Megumi, yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Chef Jackson,
You gotta move it.
you got to move your hands, bud. Move those wrists. Come on, there you go.
There you
Yes.
go. There you go.
Bravissimo. Excellent.
Nice wine bottle there.
I like that wine bottle, Bruno. All right, so again, we got our ricotta farce right here, which that ricotta farce, again, is ricotta, egg, a little bit of thyme, Balinese truffle salt, and black pepper, okay? And so what farce is in French, the word to stuff is farci, okay? And so over here, when we refer to something as a farce, that's our stuffing, all right? So, all right. So now I'm going to show everyone how to make a tortellini from start to finish, okay? So I know you guys are still finishing punching that dough. You're probably still wetting that napkin down, all right? Doing a couple more things. You're not quite there, but I'm going to show you one from start to finish if you guys would just want to watch how I do it, okay? So basically, I have my little round, all right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of that ricotta farce in the center. And it's very important that you do not, I repeat, do not add too much, okay? You want a very small amount, less than what you think. So anytime people make tortellinis, they make two mistakes, right? One, the dough is not thin enough, okay? And two, there's too much filling, okay? So you want a very small amount. You see how much I have right here? Very small amount, all right? And so next, we're going to put our egg wash on here, which our egg wash, I'm just going to do it with my finger. You can do it with a pastry brush. But again, I'm just going to put a very, very thin layer in a semicircle, right, around this pasta round, okay? So just a semicircle. Next, what I'm going to do, and again, just watch me through this one. You don't have to do it with me. We're going to have about 30 more chances to make it right, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to fold that dough over, okay? And I'm going to form my little empanada, okay? And when I do that, I'm going to press the dough together, okay? And what is very important is that there's a barrier, right, between the stuffing and the edge. If there isn't enough room, if there isn't enough of a barrier, the stuffing is going to pop out of the edge, okay? So can you guys see that? See that stuffed little empanada I got over there? Okay? So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to press in the middle of that empanada, okay? You see that little indent? And then I'm just going to take the two ends and I'm going to pull them together, okay? And then I'm going to form my fortune cookie, okay? You guys see that? So after I form that fortune cookie, then I'm just going to take those two ends and I'm going to fold them on top of one another, right? And press together, okay? And that is my beautiful little tortellini.
Oh my God.
You see that?
Look at the tortellini.
Look at the tortellini. Okay, so now we're going to do it together. And again, I'm going to go step by step.
I'm getting involved here.
So Jason's going to get involved. And so step one, pick up a piece of pasta that is round cut.
Correct.
Perfect. Step two, add ricotta farce, right? Do not add too much. Again, don't do it. You're going to want to do it because you're like, oh man, I want these large tortellinis, but I'm telling you, every time, it's not worth it. So got that farce on there. Next, we're going to brush it very, very lightly with that egg. And it's important you don't put too much egg on there because if you if you put too much egg, right, the pasta is going to slip, right, because it's too liquid. You almost want there to be a microscopic layer of egg, right? Because all it's doing is helping that pasta stick together, okay? So next I'm going to fold my dough over. I'm going to form that little empanada, right? And again, it's very important that you have that like sideline, so to speak, you know? That layer, right? So you see I have my farce right here. And then I have about a 1/4 inch between my farce and the edge of the pasta, okay? And that is super important that you have enough space, okay? So next what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just push the middle of that pasta in, right? And I'm gonna fold the 2 sides down. And again, it looks just like a fortune cookie. You know what I mean? And then after that, I'm just gonna fold my 2 ends over and I'm gonna press them together. So you have your little tortellini, okay? And so it's pretty cool. In every culture, there's some sort of dumpling or pasta, and they all follow kind of the same technique. Like, I mean, literally a fortune cookie is the same exact shape, you know? Super cool. And so, let me see, Steve and Anna, do you put egg wash on the ends of the last fold? The answer is no, you do not. You don't need to do it. Just make sure you press it together enough that it sticks, okay?
Yep. And so, Laureen, we're going to go through that process one more time here. And we'll go up close on Tyler's hands. We'll hold him down just a touch.
Yeah, let me finish this one and then I'll get right to it. So to answer your question, Diane, how many billions have I made? Approximately 3 billion. But we used to have to make these when it's like, okay, you need 500 of them in 3 hours. So we used to make them under a very immense time pressure. So you see this? So Lorraine, you see my my round of pasta? And so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put a little bit of that ricotta into the middle of that round of pasta, okay? Not too much, very important, not too much, okay? Next, I'm gonna dip my finger in that egg and I'm just gonna brush the edge, right? In a semicircle, not all the way around, okay? In a semicircle on that pasta dough. All right, you guys with me? Karen, you seeing this too? So next what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fold that pasta over and connect the 2 sides together, right? Exactly like we would form a little empanada, okay? Right? So you see that? I got my filling right here. I got my edge of my dough right there. And then what we want to do is just press that edge together, okay? So you see that? How I have the differentiation between the edge and the filling. I have the edge and then I have my filling, okay? Next, right? I'm going to just push the middle of that. I just push that middle in, right? You see that? And then just fold those 2 sides down. So you see it already forming that shape, right? And then after that, I just fold one side of the dough over the other, okay? And then I press them together with my hand. That is my tortellini. See that?
Nice.
Excellent. So again, just form that one for Lorene and Karen over there. So if anyone else has any questions, concerns, comments, let us know. We can come in, we can diagnose any and all tortellini issues or problems.
And then if you got a couple done, go ahead, hold them up to the camera. We want to see these guys.
Yeah, I want to see what your tortellinis look like, because
And Sam going to start spotlighting you guys.
Again, it took us years to figure out how to make these correctly.
Lindsay.
Look at that.
Nice.
Nice. Look good, Lindsay.
Karen Johnson. Awesome job.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Look at that, Jeanette.
See, you guys get
Nailing it over
spotlight.
there.
Y'all just like need to get on my level.
Miles. Awesome. I think. Ann Farley looking so good over there.
Good job, Ann Farley.
Lauren Began.
Lauren, hold up. Show that one again. Look at that. Look at those. Look at
Yori
those
and
tortellinis.
Renee. Lauren, nice.
Beautiful. Look at that baby in the background.
And let's go to Yayoi and Hane again. Sophie, nice.
Sophia, it never surprises me how nice your stuff looks.
Awesome
Yayoi.
job there, Hane.
Hene, look at that pasta. Is that your
Nailing
first
it.
time making tortellini?
Yeah, awesome.
All right, Rhonda Richard Smith, look at that. Little celebration tortellini. Bethany Frank,
Bethany
stunning.
Frank, nice. Maddie and Molly.
Maddie and Molly, beautiful. All right, Megan and Adri, where are those at?
Nice.
Look
Look
at
at
that.
that little one.
Look at that tortellini. Bravissimo.
Anna and Maddie. Nice.
Yes, perfect.
What is up, girls? Awesome job. I like the naked cowboy on your apron. Steva and Anna, nice.
Dude, you guys already know how to
That
make
looks
these.
awesome. I think that's the
I don't believe this is the first time you ever
look
made
at the
tortellinis
bravissimo.
before.
Deanna.
Deanna, let's see that. Perfect. All right, Carla and Paul. We know you guys have made these before. I can already tell. Nice. Exactly. Bravissimo. Awesome. Wait a second. Is that Chef Cashew over there overseeing the tortellini making process? Okay. Chef Cashew,
Absolutely.
how does Chef Cashew feel about this tortellini making?
I think he's a little confused.
Loves it.
All.
All right, Deepika. How's it looking?
It looks pretty good.
Yeah?
Deepika, are you savoring that last sip of Bellini?
It was making me tipsy, and there was a lot of pressure on the dough making part. Down. But I'm good now. I'm all caught up.
All right. The pressure has lifted a little bit.
It has. I'll finish it for you. No problem.
It's good. We like to add a little pressure with these cooking classes that actually makes it. So again, you're forming those tortellinis over there.
And so where's Manu? I think Manu just got married.
Wait a second.
Sarah's gonna try to find him. He has a question here though.
All right, Manu, what is your question?
Do we store the prepared ones under the damp towel?
Nope.
So we want to go onto that dusted tray for that one.
Yep. So once the pasta is formed, you can put it onto the tray, and it's okay if it dries out a little bit once the pasta is formed. It's mostly while it's fresh before you have it formed. Right? Hey, what's
guys?
up?
Is it true that you just got married?
Is that true?
Yeah. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
I think you should do the pasta ring around each
Did you propose to her with a pasta ring?
I was gonna say, yeah. Was it a tortellini ring? A
Was it
ring made out of tortellini?
Well, those tortellinis are looking awesome. Congratulations, guys. Thank
Yeah.
you for cooking with us. Fantastic job.
Awesome. Those tortellini look good. All right. So we're just forming the last of our tortellinis over here. Okay. I love making tortellinis. It's so nice. I must say, it's so nice to make tortellinis without the time schedule of having to make all of them before 5 o'clock.
Yeah, making pasta like this.
It's very nice when the pressure is not totally on. when you take your time.
Yeah, it should be something that's nice, enjoyable, relaxing. That's why I wanted to do this with you guys this week. We know it's been crazy out there. Things are opening, things are closing. We don't really know what's going on. But today, you know you're going to have tortellinis for dinner.
When you make tortellini, the world seems a little bit more all right.
I think it's something in the name. Tortellini.
Tortellini.
Like, has anyone ever said tortellini and then someone else is like, oh, man, not again?
Right.
I don't think so, you know?
Ever. I love tortellinis.
When you hear tortellini, the first thing you think of, you're like, what kind? Spinach? Beet?
And literally every one of them, you're like, oh, that's good. You're like, spinach? That tastes great. Beet? I like that. Ricotta?
Yes.
Sounds good.
4 cheese?
And Brodo? Sign me up. Right? So
as we're finishing up these last ones here, Tyler, you want to tell them about next week?
oh my gosh. So we just finished the recipe testing for it. I'm not sure if you guys know the process of how we come up with these classes, but literally on Saturday, we figure out what we want to do, and then we test the recipe and then go from there. So next week, we're going to be doing sheet tray pizza, right? So we're going to show all of you how to make focaccia dough from scratch, okay? And then we're going to make a truffle margarita pizza. So it's going to be heirloom tomatoes from California, which are the best in the entire world, right now at this time period, right? So heirloom tomatoes. We're using mozzarella cheese from about 5 miles north of us in Berkeley, California, from Belfiore, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm going to show you guys how to make homemade focaccia dough, which we're going to have to make 24 hours ahead of time, but we're going to have a live show on Saturday, just kind of showing you guys how to do it. We're also going to make a video. We're going to put on Instagram Live, right? So if anyone has any questions, okay, we're going to teach you about fermentation and dough making and how to strengthen that dough and all the exciting things that come along with focaccia dough. So we are so pumped, right? I got to say, I am more excited about this class than I might have been about any other previous class. Because making focaccia is one of those things that it's just so rewarding, you know? So next week, truffle margarita pizza is going to be amazing.
Yeah, Carol, we're stoked that you're excited. Carol, we also got a burger kit coming out to you, a special gift from us that'll be shipping out on Monday. Awesome.
And then in the chat, we're going to put the link for the truffle margarita pizza in case any of you are interested.
And so once you guys get, let's see a couple more of those tortellinis. Looks like Carla and Paul, Stephanie, let's see, 3 more of the tortellinis on the tray. Nice. Chris, Loretta nailing it.
Nice.
Linda, awesome. Awesome, guys. And so the link is in the chat for the pizza class. It's going to be so awesome. And so give us a bravissimo if you got your tortellinis done and you're ready to cook them.
And you're ready to cook the tortellinis. Chef Jackson can't wait.
All right. And so now we just want to strain the sauce, right, Tyler?
All right. So next, what we're going to do is we want to just strain this sauce, okay, or this Brodo, right? So all we're going to do is you want to grab another pot or a bowl or something like that, right? And we're just going to take this Brodo, okay, strain it out. And then again, make sure you save that Parmesan rind and eat some of that Parmesan rind. I guarantee you, if you haven't had it before, you're going to thank me for that. And then after that, we're going to open up our truffle salt. Okay? And we just want to season up this Brodo with a little bit of truffle salt. All right.
Oh,
Oh man. So go ahead, give that brodo a taste. All right. And then we're just gonna keep it hot over here. Just keep it nice and warm.
mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
We got a lot of questions about the ricotta, so I'm gonna put our exact recipe in an email that you guys will see on tomorrow. Okay. It'll come with the survey email we normally send, but I'll put that exact recipe for all you guys.
Yep.
So we got our broth strained, seasoned with a little truffle salt.
Right.
And now we're going to go into blanching these tortellinis.
Tortellinis.
And so the tortellinis take about 3 minutes, right?
Yeah, it's about 3 to 4 minutes. Again, depending on the thickness, because all of our thicknesses are just a hair different. But ours are going to take about 3 to 4 minutes. And so what we want to do is we have this pot of water boiling, okay? And we're going to lightly season it with just a little bit of salt, not truffle salt, but just kosher salt or table salt, whatever you have, okay? So season that pasta water up. And then we're going to add all of these tortellinis, okay?
Yep. And so we're going to get a timer on the screen there.
So you get a timer on the screen, 3 minutes, all right? And so I know we had a lot of questions about this pasta farce, right? So what we made the farce with is ricotta, right? We put a little egg in there because you always need a little bit of egg in your pasta farce. Otherwise, the cheese just melts out, okay? And that egg basically holds the mixture together. So it's beautiful Bellwether Farms ricotta, which is just up north from us, about 20 miles in Petaluma. If you guys haven't tried their stuff before, try it. It is so good, right? So ricotta, egg, a little bit of chopped thyme, truffle salt, and black pepper, okay? So that's all that's in the farce. Super simple. Personally, I like tortellini. That's just super simple.
Yeah.
You know, and that brodo, honestly, the brodo is like the star.
Yeah.
The tortellini, again, is that like supporting actor.
Yeah. And so if you guys want, go ahead, hit yes into the chat if you want me to send that out in the email that I do on Monday, and we'll send you that whole recipe on how to make that farce.
Oh man.
Just give me a yes. That way I know you guys are really looking for this.
Yes, please.
Awesome.
Stunning.
Lauren, we did salt the pasta water.
So we salt the pasta water, but we always salt the pasta water right before we add the pasta. And the reason why we do that, we got a yes from Schauser.
Nice.
And so the reason why we always like to salt the pasta water right before you add that pasta is because if you season the water too early, right, and you keep that pot of water on, the water level is going to reduce, but the salt stays the same, right? So even though you have less water, you'll have more salt. And so you can over season like that very, very easily. So we're going to need a couple more bowls.
How's this timer looking here? We got just under a minute, so that is perfect.
Nice.
So I got our Parmesan here. I got the Truffle Carpaccio. And we're actually going to shave this Parmesan with a truffle shaver. And so, Lauren, you want it to taste like seawater. Exactly.
Yep.
Just one. Tastes like seawater like the ocean, but just one ocean, okay? Not 3 oceans.
Nope. And so again, we got that water boiling, 3 minutes for that beautiful al dente, 3 to 4 minutes.
Nice.
All right. So that is our timer over there. Okay. So all we're going to do with this is we're just going to transfer these tortellini directly into our bowl. Okay. So I like to do about 7 or 8 per bowl.
And I'm going to come right behind Tyler with the Brodo. So I'm putting 1 2-ounce ladle of Brodo in there. We might go back and give it a little bit more.
Oh, man. Make sure you have enough Brodo.
And so this makes about 4 decent portions or 2 awesome portions.
Mm.
And so we got the Brodo down, and then I'm coming back with a couple of these slivers of truffle.
Oh, man. That Carpaccio.
The Carpaccio.
Nice. Look at that.
Oh, yeah. And then I'm going to use either a peeler or this truffle shaver to get some stunning peels of Parmesan right over these tortellinis.
Yeah. We love just that little shaving of Parmesan because you got the Parmesan in the Brodo, right, in that broth, which really helps. And then we add a couple shavings on top. We just bring it over the top. And so very last but not least, we're going to hit this with a little sprinkle, right, up high. We got to hit that Truffle Salt, the sel de truth. Oh, man.
All right.
Stunning.
I'm going to hold this one up to the camera so you guys can see it.
Look at that Brodo. Excellent. So Joey and Angela, we just placed that Truffle Carpaccio on top. That's all we did.
Awesome.
All right. So we're going to go in here and get a taste. We would love to see how your tortellinis turned out. Mm.
Linda. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome job, Linda.
Nice job, Linda.
So Chef Jackson, with the truffle carpaccio, you just want to spread it across the tortellinis. Maybe put 1 piece of truffle on each tortellinis. All right, we got Lauren. Awesome.
Look at that, Lauren. Beautiful tortellinis. Exactly. Bravissimo. All right.
All right, Chef L, how you looking?
Chef L, Chef Dan. Chef L, how you doing over there?
All right, Loretta, how those looking? Nice. And then how you guys looking on your finished dish here? Looks like everyone's kind of at the final stages. Which is awesome, which means we get about a minute to enjoy these tortellinis.
Mm.
Awesome. Christine. Great
Beautiful.
job.
And so, Robin, that's a great question with the straining of the Brodo. So all we need to do with that Brodo is just strain it into a different container. That's it.
Miles, looking awesome.
Look at this.
Final
Look at that.
touches of the Brodo.
Yes. Look at that Brodo.
Awesome job, guys. Michelle, I'm quite certain you stole that plate from the French Laundry. But those tortellinis look incredible. It looks like Lauren, they either are about to plate the tortellini or they ate all the tortellini.
Nice. And then we got the little pastry chef in the making in the corner over there.
We got Ambika.
Ambika.
Awesome.
Yes.
Look at those tortellini.
Stunning. Nice job, Ambika. Deanna,
nailing it. Chef Cashew.
Chef Cashew, how do
Oh,
you
my
feel
God.
about that finished dish? He feels very good. He's a scrupulous chef, man. He's just like, true chefs never seem happy on the outside, but on the inside, as long as they're not yelling at you on the inside, they're very happy.
Nice.
Lauren, look at this plating over here. Yes.
They are eating
Look at the
tortellini
little one.
tonight.
She is so excited to eat this tortellini. Hi. Oh, Chef Simba has awoken
man.
from his sleep. Look at that tortellini. That's beautiful.
Hello. What do you think, Simba?
Oh,
He's not impressed.
Stephanie, awesome. Look at that.
awesome. Catherine Levan, how you guys doing?
Chef Sophia, how you looking with that tortellini?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
Mr. Markinson, it's a beautiful tortellini.
Incredible.
It's a mucho bravissimo.
All right, Chef Sophia's coming up here in a second. We got Rhonda
Wait a
Richards.
second. Rhonda
Oh.
Richards Smith. Stunning up close view of that tortellini in Brodo. Beautiful. Nice job. Nice job over there.
Bill and Tammy.
Bill and Tammy. Look at those plates. Nice.
And then how about Lindsay? Where's she at? Tyler Nolette.
All right, Tyler. Let's see it. I like that name, by the way. Strong name.
Nice, Lindsay. Look at that.
Lindsay, who's
Tortellinis and Brodo.
Chef Lindsay.
Awesome.
Beautiful tortellinis. Nice job.
Nice spider there, Jenny.
Yeah, Jenny, nice spider. That's a professional piece of equipment over there.
All right, we got Adalia.
Chef Gibson over there.
All right, Joey and Angela.
All right, Joey and Angela, let's see it. Look at that broth. Wait a second. Are those fresh truffles in there too? What? That is how you elevate that dish. You slice those beautiful
Oh.
Australian black winter truffles. For
We got-
sale at truffleshufflesf.com.
Maya and Ainsley over here.
Oh, is this Maya and Ainsley?
This is Mainsley's Mass.
Mainsley. Where are you two at? There
What
you
up,
go.
guys?
Hey.
We're good. How are you guys?
So
Excellent.
good.
You got a big check heading your way.
I was gonna say we got some serious venture capital headed in that direction.
Thank
All
you.
right. Chef Sophia, how are those tortellinis?
All right, Sophia, how's that kitchen looking over there?
She says they're in the pot, right? Or about to go in the pot.
I like that you can now read Chef Sophia's excited faces.
Nice.
Oh
Look at
man,
that.
those came out awesome.
Oh my gosh, this is a lot. You guys made all those tortellinis.
They made a lot of tortellinis
You
over
guys
there.
crushed that tortellini project. Was that what you guys?
Chef Sophia literally just turned her kitchen into a tortellini factory. She was like, listen, everyone.
Chef Sophia, I look forward to working for you one day. I'm not even kidding when I say that
Yeah.
because I already see it.
Awesome, guys. Incredible. If anybody has any they want to hold up to the camera, Carla and Paul, you guys are doing an awesome job down there.
Yes.
Yeah, let's
Chef,
see those.
Chef Peter Graffagino, we see you over there. We're coming after. Nice. I like those plates too. It's bravissimo. All right. This is the Chef Graffagino right here.
Chef Peter
with the
Graffagino.
tortellinis.
Look at this. He just has
Look at
basil and
the
tomatoes
basil,
and
tomatoes,
all these
rolling
awesome
pins.
things.
I love it.
Awesome. So today we're starting off a pretty cool little segment we're gonna do at the end here. And we're going to bring Sarah up, and Sarah's going to be chatting with Lindsay Hoops from Hoops Vineyard. Really awesome vineyard right in Peter Grappagino's backyard, right up in Yountville. Yountville, Oakville, they're basically neighbors. And so we're going to bring her up in a second. But before we go, or before Chef Jason and Chef Tyler go, I just want to tell you guys thank you so much for cooking with us.
I just want to tell you that all of these dishes look absolutely delicioso, right? That's the two-hand bravissimo I'm giving everybody. Delicioso.
Yeah, this is bravissimo from Truffle Shuffle to you guys, because you guys absolutely crushed it.
From my heart to yours, bravissimo.
And I know we did a kids class last week, so a lot of you guys weren't with us, but I just want to tell you guys a little bit about what happened. Okay? So we did this kids class, and then and so Steve and Anna will think this is pretty cool. We wanted to do a pitch competition, right? And so we just sent out a little note. We're like, hey, how would you have a lemonade stand post-COVID-19, right? As a little kid, how do you have a lemonade stand? And we sent out a little note, and then on the class, I think we had around like 26 participants, right? And all these kids pitched their little idea, and it was so awesome. It was so cool to see the level of creativity, right? Everyone's idea encapsulated something with giving back, right?
Yeah.
Donating, whether it's an animal shelter or to those in need, which was just truly incredible.
Yeah.
And then everyone showed just a very high understanding of, you know, this virus and what it is really doing right now.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really awesome. And we selected 3 winners. We got a really awesome video put together. We're going to send you guys an email. So make sure you open that email. Like, these guys are amazing. Okay.
It's awesome.
And we're going to select 1 winner and send them $250. But then someone reached out and matched how much money. So we're able to actually send 3 little kids $200 each to start their little lemonade stand. And so we're going to be sending out details of that. It just to do that with you guys and see your enthusiasm with it was just so incredible. I started cooking when I was 4 years old, and to have you guys cooking with us, it's just, you know, like when I was a little kid, I think I said this on the last show. When I was a little kid, I played with a little, it was wooden carrots that were Velcroed together. And then I also had a briefcase with Monopoly money.
Nice.
And so as a little kid, I wanted to be a businessman or a chef. And, you know, hanging out with you guys, I kind of get to do both right now. So thank you guys so much for that. And it's so inspiring to see all the little kids on this show. So we've got this super cool video that you guys will see in the email, and just check it out. We're going to drop all the details of the kids and how you can support them. So incredible job. Hit up in the comments if you like the tortellini and the brodo. Let us know. Let us know if you like making the pasta. Okay.
Yeah.
There might be someone on the show we really need to impress here. So really blow it up in the comment section, guys. And without further ado, we got Sarah.
Thanks.
And then we're going to bring on Lindsay Hoops.
Cool. So thank you. Okay, great. So we're just going to chat a little bit about wine, guys. And I know that some of you were able to purchase Hoops wine as well. Brett and I were fortunate enough to actually go up to the vineyard this last week. So he's just going to show you guys a little video about the kind of background of Hoops. And then Lindsay will be able to explain a little bit more and go into specifics about the making of the wine that we kind of pointed in your direction this week too. But I just want to share that little video while we get started. There we go. Awesome, Lindsay.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. And obviously, we're delighted to be paired with this amazing dinner because I know that we've already eaten it. But our son is right in the back shouting for more tortellini. So we really enjoyed it. But it's an honor. This is my husband, Methan. I'm Lindsay Hoops, second generation proprietor of Hoops Family Vineyard. We're zooming into you, I guess, from Yountville Road here in the Oakville, Yountville areas of Napa Valley. And I had so much fun doing a pop-up dinner with Truffle Shuffle. We have loved collaborating with the team because I think there's an amazing ethos in responsible sourcing, and I like to think that that's exactly what we do with our wine. So we are entirely family run and operated. We're grower producers. We've actually been in the Valley since the early 1980s and farming for a number of other people until we actually decided to produce for ourselves. And our first vintage was in 1999. I took over the business about 8 years ago, and in that process, I've actually expanded our operations to include a number of very small, limited production wines, and also opening a facility just south of Yountville. We opened March 1st, so obviously everybody knows what happens, kind of similar to, I guess, you know, Truffle Shuffle and their story. We've had to pivot a good bit to keep ahead of the wildfires and everything, but it's a very special place, and we hope to host you soon. And we're actually open during COVID because we have a ton of outdoor seating. A number of the shots that you saw in the video, I'm not sure if everyone got audio. I know that we didn't, but we were actually showing 2 different facilities. So I apologize if I'm telling you something you already heard. But we have our Old Vine Oakville facility, which actually demonstrates the oldest pre-phylloxera vineyard in all of Napa Valley. And then we actually flash to all of our farm animals that are part of our team at our new facility, which is a biodiverse, sustainable, organic farm. We have a farmer's market that's open daily for those of you that are local. We have about 2 acres of vegetables. We grow our grapes there, but then we also put the animals to work. So one of the ideas is that we wanted to incorporate natural pest control and also appreciate that all organisms have a role in an ecosystem. And so our sheep do all of our weeding, our goats do our weeding, all of the animals provide the compost for us to then use in our organic farming, and they're all fed from the organic farm themselves. So we're entirely self-sustaining, and we have a really neat operation there where you can come and learn about biodiverse farming, regenerative farming, but then also meet all of our friendly animals, and they are all rescues. About our team a little bit, we are entirely female run and operated, although we have some very important men in our life. My husband, I have 2 sons, and my father. So I am surrounded by very supportive men, and we are a family business. So as some of you may know, in the farming industry, if you live on a farm, you always have a job from day one. So I will say that the kids have already started learning how to drive their tractors, have fun with the vegetables, learn about farming throughout the year, and a number of other things. I like to think of our wine as really true to where it's from. I know there's a lot of discussion in the wine business about terroir-driven wines, and I would like to say that, you know, although potentially overused to some extent, that term, it is very, very true to what we do. So we plant what is best for the area, and we end up planting companion crops and also a number of wildflowers and other items to help bring nutrients back to the soil. So what we've tried to do is take all non-native plants out and really use that companion planting to help improve the ultimate quality of our wine. And I think that, you know, as we see in cooking, all of those ingredients are very intentionally matched to make the perfect dish. That's kind of the same for us, that we're trying to find the best planting, best farming, so that everything comes together to make the perfect glass of wine. We picked 2 bottles of wine for you today. We have the Mise Merlot and the Hoops Oakville Cabernet. And I picked these 2 wines because I think everybody talks about Cab being sort of the king of Napa Valley, but Merlot is a grape that is usually very, very underappreciated in Napa and probably beyond. And I actually think the Merlot tastes a lot better with this particular dish than the Cabernet. So we're in the heart of Cabernet country in Napa, in the Oakville area, but our Merlot is actually from Howell Mountain, and they're both Bordeaux varietals, so both do very well here, but the Merlot itself just has that sensuality and that kind of earthiness, almost a mushroom quality that I think goes extremely well with the truffles and that earthiness that come through. So I really love that pairing, and obviously, you know, the Cabernet is a great match too because they're both full-bodied reds. The Cabernet has a little bit more going on, and so I think the Mise Merlot makes the Tortellini kind of stand out as the main player in the event. But, you know, they're both amazing. Because of the richness, I think reds go really well, and they stand up, the truffles stand up to everything. So again, I want to thank Truffle Shuffle for including us, and obviously if there's anybody who has any questions, we're here, and we've got all the generations. One of them got a little tired, so he's watching cartoons. But we are here to answer any questions you have about the winery, the history, our heritage here. We've been in Napa Valley for over 40 years. So we do ship to Massachusetts. And I went to high school in Massachusetts, so I have a very nice history there. I went to Andover.
Awesome. Yeah, it's great. We have so many people participating from all over the country, Lindsay. It's a lot of fun, as I know you know, and your membership is expansive as well. Cool. So one of the kind of oh, hello, I'm here. One of the things that I found particularly interesting, because for those of you that have kind of been on a few classes, I find obviously science and farming and kind of the history behind wine is really impactful to me, and I find really interesting. And so that's why I always have fun facts for you guys, an interesting thing about fruits or something with our beverage program. So what I found really interesting, and something that I hope you don't mind me sharing, Lindsay, but what was really impactful for me is that you mentioned that the vines on the Oakville property are pre-phylloxera vines. And I think a lot of people don't really know what that means and kind of how incredible that is. So basically, just to give you guys some background, and I'm going to get a little sciencey here, but I think that's why you guys like having me on camera. But so phylloxera is something that comes from a bug, and it's a bug that infects specifically grapevines. And it's something that's native here to Northern California. And they end up infecting European vines. So when you think about grapevines, it's either Vitis vinifera, pardon me, I had to double check my Latin on that one, or American vines, simply put. And so you have Vitis vinifera, and that's something like Cabernet Sauvignon, right? Merlot. That's Pinot Noir, anything that originates in Europe and is kind of that old world style that you think of. And then you have something that's New World or specifically native grapes to Northern California. And that's like Concord or Newton. And if you've ever done like wine tastings in places like Texas or Virginia or areas like that, you might have heard of some of these varietals that aren't so popular, and they're not on that same longitude and latitude as Burgundy or Australia or those kind of very classic wine growing regions. And so basically these vines were infected, and it infects the plant at the root and it kills everything off. And so that infected all European vines. And so when that came to Napa Valley, basically everyone had to replant. And what they have to do is they plant with these American vine rootstocks, and then they graft the desired grape on top of that. And so that's basically almost all of Napa Valley right now is kind of that two-part plant that's been grafted, with the exception, as far as I know, from Lindsay's Oakville Vineyard, which is really phenomenal that they were not only, these vines were able to survive past that, but they still have this original European rootstock that's in the ground. So that's something, maybe that sounded a little boring, but I find super fascinating and really exciting and unique about all the wine that comes from there. And I feel like that's really hard to find. So that was really exciting for me to learn when we went up there. And Brett and I, we not only got to play with a bunch of rescue animals and pet donkeys and turkeys and stuff, and that was a lot of fun for us too. But the Oasis property that she mentioned is phenomenal. And like she said, they're doing bottle service. They've got their whole little farmers market there. Peter, it's super close to you, and anyone in Napa Valley, head over there and you can sit on this beautiful property, and it's summertime and it's great. You just sit out there and order a bottle of rosé, and it is phenomenal. And you can learn more about their property and everything that they're doing. So if anyone has any comments or like Lindsay said, questions that you want to, yeah, go up there, do it. You guys just got married, get up there, celebrate. You can socially distance and still celebrate. But I just wanted to say cheers. Anyone got it? We're drinking the 2014, well, our team is drinking the 2014 Oakville Cab, and I tried it myself, and it's really delicious. It's definitely meaty. It's got some of that black pepper. It's savory. It's umami, like Lindsay mentioned, and it's really beautiful. And I think, with the Brodo, it's going to be phenomenal too. So I'm excited to kind of try both together. But if anyone has, awesome. I'm glad it was informative and fun, and that's what we're going to try to bring to the end of this segment, if that's okay. If you guys want to tune in and stay and listen to us geek out about wine, that's a lot of fun too. So awesome. If we're going to throw up in the chat a link to the Hoops Vineyard where you can buy their wine in case you didn't have a chance to get it for the class. We'll put a link up there, and yeah, awesome.
Play that video.
Oh, and we'll play the video one more time because I think some people had, now my face is frozen. but I think some people had some trouble with the audio. So we'll play that one more time for you guys. And then Tyler and Jason and I are just going to say goodbye. And thank you so much. This was a lot of fun. And we'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Thanks everyone for including us.
Bye.
Fun. Cheers.
Yeah, I'll start 3-way high five.